Coming up, we've got little mini robots, a review of a hometown system, some action tripods, a new Acer TravelMate, and I've got a look at the latest Sony camera. It's time to watch before you buy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Before You Buy is brought to you by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com. Before You Buy is brought to you by Jack Irwin. Jack Irwin sells men's shoes made from the finest materials at honest prices, and they ship them right to your door. Check out their shoe collections at jackerwin.com/twit. That's jackerwin.com/twit. Welcome to Before You Buy, the product review show on the Twit Network, where we get some of the latest and greatest stuff. It's really just an excuse for us to play with toys, and then we get our staff to take a look at it and give them a real-world review. Shannon Moore Snubs is here.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for paying me to play with these toys.
The new show. Can we announce that? Is it secret?
I don't know. It's out there. Yeah.
It's out there?
Yeah.
So Revision 3 kind of bailed on Texzilla. I saw your last episode. I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
But good news.
Yes, very good news. Patrick Norton and I are going to be doing a new show called Tech Thing.
Tech Thing?
Yes. So
it's spelled the same as Texzilla, T-E-K, but I won't tell Revision 3
Same
that.
as H-A-K and Hack as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a K show.
So we just shot a promo video for our Patreon and for our YouTube channel.
Where is
so
the
we'll
Patreon? Because that's how you're paying for this. Is
yeah, we don't have it set up yet. So as soon as we have it set up, we'll be releasing all the information on it.
So this is a little preview.
Yeah.
Before it's ready. I'm thrilled to hear
you can
that.
already
That's
find
great.
us on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. I've already set up all the social networks. So, yeah, definitely find us. Tech Thing.
Tech Thing, T-E-K-T-H-I-N-G. And
yes.
Is that the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tech Thing? Great.
Yes, it is.
There's people moving around here. What is this?
Yes, robots. So these are called the Ozobots. You can buy these for $49.99 each, or you can buy them in a double pack like this one for $99.99. So each one is about $50.
Okay.
And this one's running away.
Does it include the cards and the stuff?
It does.
Okay.
So you get the cards. You get these little cards that look like, regular 3-inch by 5-inch cards that you would usually find. You also get some drawing boards, such as this one. A calibration board that's where you always want to put it, right before you want to put it on an actual game board so that it can calibrate and find black label lines like this.
You have to teach the camera what to look for.
You do. So when you first turn it on, and it lasts for about 40 minutes of playtime.
Okay.
You want to hold down for about 2 seconds, and an LED will start blinking white.
Yeah.
You put it on the calibration board, and it's supposed to flash
it's looking
green.
for the edges.
Yeah, it looks for the edges, and then it'll calibrate and flash green.
Okay.
And you turn it on again, and you set it on your board,
I am
and
ready.
you can start playing with it.
And what is it doing?
So it's has a mind of its own. It's reading the black lines, and it follows those. And every time it runs into a different color, whether that's green, blue, or red, it'll read that out as a certain combination that gives it something different.
It's a command.
For example, if I set it on my drawing board.
You actually made these with the dry erase markers.
I did. So I set it on here, and if it hits the green, red right there, that means that it'll win.
I win,
and then it starts flashing,
I
and
win.
it runs in a circle, so it knows that it just won at the finish line.
Is it like a rat you're training to run a maze?
It's kind of like a rat, yeah. And you never know exactly what they're going to do, so it'd be really cool to get like a couple of these together and then do a racing game with another person, like another kid, and see which one ends up at the end of the finish line, because you don't know where they're going to end up going if they have multiple places to go.
You know, the technology reminds me a little bit of the Anki drive we showed last year, the racing racetrack, because they followed a virtual track just like this. It was only really color on paper.
Now, these come with these as well as a couple of nice little charging cables. They just charge with micro USB. Takes about 40 minutes to charge and then 40 minutes of playtime. You get a couple of carrying cases with them, an extra little rubber case to put on the top in case you want to change its color. And these are separate. So these are the kind of Crayola crayons that you would probably want to use with it. It can recognize these colors. The lines have to be very thick if you want to draw your own. It won't recognize a very thin line, so you have to make sure that you draw it nice and thick. Now, one really cool thing, and this is my favorite part, is there's a couple of applications that you can use. And let me go ahead and
I see you brought your iPad.
My iPad,
All
yes.
Are they iOS only, these apps?
Actually, I'll show you this one last.
Okay.
They're Google Play and iOS.
Oh, good.
Now, one is where you can just draw your own
So
board.
you drew this track?
On an iPad,
Oh,
yeah.
that's kind of neat.
So the first thing you need to do, again, is calibrate it. So I'll go back here to the main website, and I'll click on, let's see, Tune Up. There it is. I want to calibrate my sensors, so I will turn it off again, do the 2-second hold, LED turns white, put it on here, and then it calibrates.
Oh, that's nice. That was easy.
And I'm going to go back to the main page. Yeah, really easy to figure out.
And you
start,
recommend
and then
doing
I
that
can go
each
to free
time,
draw.
but you don't have to do it each time.
I would recommend doing it if you're switching from paper over to iPad or iPad to paper, because it's not going to recognize back and forth. It gets a little confused whenever you want to do that. So now I drew this one, I saved it, so I can just turn it back on.
But you don't know what it's going to do when it sees red, green, or blue.
You don't know what it's going to do. So you can stick it on here.
Do you learn? Does it learn? Can you then say, I see it does this?
It automatically knows what the codes are. For example, this blue, black, blue, that means that it's going to go really fast. This is a zoom mode, so it'll speed through that real fast.
Okay.
This one right here, this green, red, or red, green, red, that'll throw it off and make it go a confusing place.
Yeah.
And this one at the end is a U-turn. So it's
you
supposed to
learn
turn
actually what the robot might do.
Yeah.
Because it knows, but you don't know.
With it.
That's interesting.
Now,
You're the rat
last
in this
thing that's
maze.
very fun to do with this is called Ozo Groove. This is another iPad app as well as Google Play. Unfortunately, I found that the Ozobot app is not available for the Note 4, so I could only use it with a tablet on Google. But it is available for the iPad as well. So I'm going to hit Dance for this one. And then what I can do is tap to activate, and I'll turn you back on. And I'm going to load my Ozobot. Oop. Guess I should select a dance first.
A little country music. All right.
Okay, so I'm loading my Ozobot.
What's it doing? What's it doing? Oh,
so this takes
it's
a little bit of
programming
time.
it. It's actually sending
But
it
I
code?
can set up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ozobots on this one dance floor. So I
Yeah.
can set this one up with it. And once it's completely ready to go, I can hit dance.
And it's taught.
And it's going to
learning
dance to the music. So if I turn this up all the way, you can hear this really horrible music that's logged into the program. It'll dance to the music.
Wow.
It's cute.
So what is the gameplay value of this thing? I mean, you think, and what ages you think? Obviously, you enjoy it.
I would not recommend. Yeah, I enjoy it, but I'm a kid at heart. I recommend it for kids that are young teens or like 7, 8, 9 years old.
A little bit older.
Yeah, nobody younger than that, because it is a little confusing to calibrate it every time, and they might get frustrated with that. This would be really fun to learn some code examples for. If you want to,
because you are programming it once you learn what these colors do.
Yeah. You're programming it. You're making your own games. So this gets kids creative and gets them to learn with each other. So it's a very, very fun way to get techie with people if you want to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. So on the pro side, it's very fun. I like the little designs, and it's a good price. On the con side, you have to calibrate it every time, and the battery life is not that great. But even so, I still give it a buy because they're so cute and they're really fun. And I think it's a cool thing to give a kid, especially as a gift.
It is actually a little pricey, $50
It is
each,
a little pricey.
But the apps are free.
Yeah, the apps are totally free, and you could even plug in your own music if you wanted to.
So it sounds like you're giving it
It's a buy.
A buy.
I liked it.
Shannon Moore snubs. You can see her at Hack 5 and the new tech thing soon on YouTube. Look for that Patreon. We'll give you a plug once you get the Patreon set up.
Thank you. Yeah.
And a buy for the Ozobots, Ozobot. There was a page. I saw a tech thing page.
Yeah, my Twitter with one message on it.
Oh, well, now you're going to get a few more. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate
Thank
it. Hey, I want to show you my shoes. Let me ask you. I'm asking all the young ladies here at the Twit Brick House. What, you're married now, but when you were dating, maybe the first time you met your husband, did you look at his shoes? How important are shoes?
Yeah, I did, and I hated it because he wore sandals to a bar, and I was like, why would you?
See?
Ugh, so
See, guys?
tacky.
We don't think about this stuff.
You don't wear sandals to a bar. Why?
Why not?
No.
They're so comfy.
You don't do that, because then you'll get drinks on your shoes.
Or your toes.
Ugh, gross.
That's why I'm telling everybody, guys, I'm telling you, Jack Irwin for the holidays. You know what, Shannon? I'm going to share these with you. I have not worn these. You're safe. These are Jack
Nice
Irwin
well.
shoes. I'm going to show you. Those are the loafers. I got a bunch of them here. I think everybody I've shown these to really likes these. These are
And they smell good.
aren't they nice?
I don't know why I did that. I was just trusting you on that.
I do it too. These Jack Irwin shoes are made with the best leather from Italy and France, handmade in Spain. You can see leather soles, hand sewn, very high quality. Now, if you don't buy men's shoes, but women's shoes, if you saw a shoe like this in a fine, like at a Nordstrom, you'd probably be saying $700-800 for a pair of shoes like these.
Real stitching, yay!
It's like really well made. They're never going to wear out. Jack Irwin saves you a lot, about a third to a quarter of the cost at the big stores. I think these are $200 because somebody stole my boots. My shoes have been stolen. Everybody wants my Jack Irwins because they sell direct to you. I want you to go to jackerwin.com, jackerwin.com/twit. You can see my pics. I am never wearing any other shoes again. I'm telling you, these are gorgeous shoes, beautifully made. Now, when you order, guys, I want you to remember to order one size smaller. They're made big. So if you're size 10, order the 9s, okay? They're made big, but you'll like that. You'll like it that there's a skosh more room. Those are the boots right there on the site.
Boots.
I think. See, every woman I show those to says the boots. I'm not a boot guy, but there's something. Yeah, there's something about those. They're just good looking. Jackerwin.com. The holidays are here. Get just dress up, just up your game a little bit. If you're an entrepreneur looking for money, you don't go to a venture capital in Birkenstocks. You gotta wear the nice shoes, folks. These polish up beautifully, and you know what? They're so well made, they will last a lifetime, and that's important too. Centuries-old tanneries in Italy and France, artisans in Spain. No retailers. That means it's direct to you. That saves you money. Shipping is free, and by the way, easy to return. So if the size isn't just right or the style isn't, this is what I want. I'm driving moccasins.
Ooh.
Driving moccasins.
Those are comfy.
Look at those. Those are $95. That'd be a good gift. Get your guy kind of started to wear nice shoes, right?
He needs it.
He does. And then he'll say, oh, this isn't so bad. I thought these would be uncomfortable. These are really comfortable. And you got them. You got them hooked. jackerwin.com/twit. All right, now I have to put my shoes away. We have a review from Brian. Brian Burnett is our technical director. And, you know, we like to, people always want to hear the home theater stuff. So we have to spread these reviews out. There's like a competition. Who gets to review it? We just got these in. The ZVOX SoundBase 570 home theater sound system. Not expensive, but do they pass the Burnett Boy test? Let's find out. Brian has the review.
This is Brian Burnett from Before You Buy on Twit, and today I'm taking a look at the ZVOX SoundBase 570 home theater sound system. And as the name would imply, this is a base that goes underneath your TV, or in the case that I'm using, a computer monitor. And the dimensions for it are 30 inches wide by 14.5 width, and it's 3.5 inches tall. So big enough for most TVs to fit comfortably on top of. On the front of the panel, you have your push buttons for volume and power, and also a 3.5 millimeter stereo panel front jack for plugging in your phone or laptop. On the rear, you have 2 analog stereo inputs, 2 optical digital inputs, and 1 coaxial digital input. So pretty much everything you need to set up for your living room or home theater system. As far as design, the ZVOX keeps it pretty simple. It definitely feels really sturdy and weighs about 19 pounds, but feels well made. Also on the front panel is a digital reader that looks pretty good and is easy to read from a distance. Included with the ZVOX is a remote that has all the options for changing input. And for a change, this remote doesn't feel really cheap compared to a lot of other sound systems that I've played with. As for sound, it is really good. It comes in strong. The bass comes in strong, and it does get really loud without any distortion. Definitely one of the biggest pros of this is the sound, which it obviously should be since it's a sound system. Another pro is how easy it is to set up. Really, all you have to do is plug it in, and 1 cable or 2 cable, and you don't have to deal with a bunch of wires for your entertainment system. An added bonus is that this SoundBase comes with Bluetooth, so you can connect to your digital mobile device of your choosing. As far as cons, the only one I could really come up with is price. Comes in at around $400. And compared to some competitors, that is a little bit higher. But for the relatively small size of this SoundBase, it does have really good sound, and it's very easy to set up, and I'd have to give it a buy. So if you're in the market for a simple to use, simple to set up SoundBase that you want for your living room or bedroom, you couldn't go wrong with the ZVOX SoundBase 570. This has been Brian Burnett from Before You Buy. Thanks for watching.
The Burnett boys give it 3 thumbs up. Give me your thumb. 3 thumbs up on the ZVOX SoundBase 570 home theater. So $399 for a whole system is great. And yes, games do sound better. What do you think that is? Look at this clamp like that, and then we've all seen these great Joby Gorilla Pods. Here's one. Oh, it just stays there forever. Actually, this is great for motorcycles. These are action mounts from Joby, and we thought we'd give them to Chad Johnson and get his review. Here's the old redhead with a look.
Hello, my name is Chad. I'm with Twit and Before You Buy, and today I'm reviewing 3 different products from Joby. Joby, you may know them as the people who have created a few different tripods that use these articulating pod arms. These can easily wrap around pipes or various things to get a really good shot because they have a tripod mount on the top. Now this one is a very short version of that. It's not intended for that, but that's probably how you know of Joby and Joby products. These are 3 different things to mount different products on. You could use it for either something that has a tripod mount, or you can also use an action cam. These come with an action cam mount, which you'll see on a GoPro Hero or a few different camera products, small camera products use this action mount. So each of these that I'm about to show off basically it's 4 different products, but they come in 4 different packages. So let's take a look at just a few of them. First is the suction cup. This cup, when you put down and you turn it right, it will suction on to a surface, a very flat and smooth surface, and then you can rotate it and it pops off. Now this table is made out of wood and is pretty porous. It has a pretty good stay on just this table. You can see that I'm moving it quite a lot. But something like glass or the surface of a car would be the perfect mount for one of these suction cups. Next is the action clamp. This action clamp has rubberized pads and sort of a locking mechanism so that once it locks and you put pressure, it will not move forward after that. But if you kind of move it smoothly up and down, you can move that as well as a clamp to really tighten that down. On the inside there is a groove which makes this really perfect for adding to mic stands. This is sort of the perfect accessory if you wanted to get a really good shot of someone maybe using this mic. No matter where they move it, the clamp stays together. So that is number 2 out of the 4 products. The next is the articulating arm. This is the locking arm. And this product has 2 tripod mounts on either side, and if you unlock it, it can articulate in any direction. So this would be added to the top of either the suction cup, which means that you can move your thing all the way around just like that, or it can be added to the top of the locking arm as well. The top or bottom has mounts for both. And then finally is the Gorilla Pod arm, which is sort of the classic Joby product, which has, like I said, mounts for tripods on both sides and will rotate, so you can really rotate this around. This is just kind of preference. Now, I said they come in 4 different packages. Basically, you can buy a suction cup with either the articulating arm or the Gorilla Pod arm or the locking arm. The locking arm configuration is $10 more, or you can buy the locking clamp, which will, in this configuration is $29, and in this configuration is $39. So that's the 4 different packages that Joby is offering. All of those packages do come with the action camera mount as well. The pros are that I really liked the groove at the top of the locking arm, and this suction cup really does work well. We can put it on metal, It locks really solidly, and you just really feel like it is just super duper solid. And you could add it to a car, you could add it to a window, and it is a very solid hold. So that's another pro. And then finally, I really did like the locking arm here. It really did feel secure when you lock this down and have it pointing in the direction that you want. As far as the cons, not many cons at all. These, like I said, range from $29 to $39, and basically whatever configuration you want. I think it's a strong recommendation, a buy. Now I said I had one more Joby product, and I've been using it right here for my phone this entire time. This is the Grip Tight Micro Stand, and it's really awesome. First, let me show it to you all folded up. You basically wouldn't even think that it's a professional tripod stand, but this is what it is. It could fit in your pocket. Let's just kind of go over a little bit of the hardware. It folds out, and it also has, this is in two pieces. First is the mini tripod, which will unfold just like this, and does have a head on top, which will articulate. And it's difficult to articulate without the actual other piece on top of it. But this tripod will basically work in conjunction with the other mechanism. This right here, when you unfold one side and the other side, will lock onto a phone. And this is the 6 Plus, so it's a very wide phone, and it fits just fine. Now this adds a tripod mount to the bottom of your phone, and in conjunction with the little teeny tiny tripod, works as a really great stand. So when I want to articulate this in, I just added it, so I just need to lock that a little bit more. Once I add it, you can articulate this, which is it's really nice, I gotta say. This is perfect for a desk, for presentations. I know that Alex Lindsay uses it at Pixel Core for all of their notes and making sure that you can see messages and that your phone isn't in your pocket. So once again, that's the Grip Tight Micro Stand. This cost $30, $29.95 on Joby's website. And I gotta say, it is really cool. The pros are that I gotta say this rotating pivot point that you get on the stand is really tight, and I really do feel secure with that. It's also super tiny and compact, and can really, I mean, why wouldn't you carry this? It's not taking up any room at all, and super convenient. For the cons, every once in a while, because there is this folding mechanism on the back, you'll try to maybe tilt your phone down, and you'll start to sort of fold it back in on itself, and you'll have to really kind of grip both edges of the phone to make sure that you can articulate that pivot point around. So that can be difficult, and that's about the only con that I can think of. Once again, I'm going to give this a buy. It only comes in at 30 bucks. It's a nice little accessory to throw in your camera bag if you need it, especially if you're doing some sort of live production, which we are doing all the time. So 2 buys from the Joby products that I have here at Twit, and before you buy, see you next time.
You know, thank you, Chad. I did not know this, but I guess Chad mentioned it. The Joby folks are in town. So they stop by all the time with tripods and stuff. They give us stuff, suction cups. That's really cool. That suction cup, by the way, I put it on the table. I couldn't get it off. It's strong. Chad Johnson, he's the host of course, the GizWiz on this network. You see him on almost every Before You Buy, and you can catch his Patreon. He still does his OMG Craft Minecraft show on YouTube, youtube.com/OMGcraft. His Patreon, if you'd like to help him out, OMG Chad or Craft? OMG Craft. Chad? One of the, you know what? Try both. Chad. Patreon.com/OMGChad. Mike Elgin is here. He is our news director, host of TNT every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, your daily dose of tech news. And we are seeing now a lot of inexpensive, small Windows 8.1 laptops.
That's right.
And this is the Acer TravelMate.
That's right, the TravelMate B115. And this is of course, a Windows 8.1 device. It's $379, so not as inexpensive as most of the others in the category.
But you compare it to other, like an Apple laptop. That's $379. It's cheap.
It's very cheap, and but it is a new world of these Windows machines, and there's actually a lot coming out these days. This is a 1366 by 768. 11-point-inch screen.
That's kind of what you sacrifice. You're never going to get. You probably aren't going to get a 1080p screen at that price.
Right, that's right. It's under 3 pounds. It sacrifices power, generally speaking, in favor of battery life. So it gets 10 hours of battery life. That's
great.
A plus. That's a really good feature right there.
Is it touchscreen?
It is a touchscreen.
That's good.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Angle's pretty good too. I can read it from
It's
the
not
side.
bad, but you see how shiny it is, and you also see how washed out the screen is. I was really disappointed in this screen, especially there are others in category that have better screens that come at a lower price.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the disappointments there. It comes with 4 gigs of RAM. It's expandable to 8. It has a 500 gigabyte good old-fashioned spinning hard drive.
It is slow.
Yeah, it's very slow. The performance is not good at all. Now let me show you something truly horrible. This has an HD webcam, but let's take a look at how just awful this. Well, it's still frozen.
Well, for one thing, you're not moving. Oh, there we go.
But I mean, you look at that. It's just horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. The screen is bad, and also the camera is bad, and so this is not a good experience. It comes with some of the Acer software, Acer Backup, Acer eRecovery, Acer Office Manager, and
I could do without all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't need that stuff, but that's one of the differentiators that it comes with. It does support HDMI, so you can do HDMI out to a TV. It does support Bluetooth 4.0, USB 3.0. It has 2 USB 2.0 ports as well. And so, wow, it looks better on. it actually looks better on our monitors.
It's well lit. It's well lit, but it's funny. There's something about it. The colors don't look as good in person as they do on our TV. I don't know why that is.
Our technicians are so brilliant. They're actually able to take a lousy image and make it look good.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. There are 2 pros to this, essentially. This battery
very
life, which
glary
I mentioned,
screen.
Is very glary. I mean, it's great as a vanity mirror.
Yeah.
You can put your face on in the morning with this thing. It's also silent and fanless, which I really like. I hate the whine of a fan. So that's a really good feature. But there are so many cons. Look at the smudges on the outside of this thing. I barely touched it.
I see your fingerprints.
It looks awful. It's got a shoddy fit and finish. Let me show you another horrible feature of this device. Press down on this touchpad. It feels like it's broken, but that's how it's.
Oh yeah, it's like loose.
Yeah, it just feels awful. Okay. It's just bad fit and finish.
Yeah.
Sometimes the keyboard simply doesn't work. You type and nothing happens on the screen. Sometimes there's a delay of like a second, and then the letters come rushing in. I've had trouble connecting to Wi-Fi. The screen is awful, as I said. The sound is loud. It's very loud, but it sounds tinny and
you don't hear any sound because there are no fans, but the speakers are tinny.
The speakers are tinny, and again, they're loud. If you want to watch a movie, it's going to be loud enough, but it's a conspicuously low quality audio experience. In short, the laptop feels, looks, and sounds terrible all the time, inside and out. And so this is a problem because it's way too expensive. You look at the competition. The Asus EBook X205 is $214. Right, that's a Windows machine. The Acer Aspire E11 is under $200. Even the HP Stream 11 is $279, and this is $379. It's $100 more than the HP. And so this whole category is supposed to compete with Chromebooks. You can buy 2 Chromebooks for the price of this.
Do they bundle some OneDrive in like HP does?
They do bundle some of that stuff, but almost all of the stuff that they bundle is something you have to go to the traditional Windows desktop and then download it from there because they have the cheesy icon. It's like the whole out-of-the-box experience is really low quality.
We're not connected to the internet. No wonder. All right.
Yeah, and so it's really a disappointment. This is definitely a don't buy.
Yeah.
You can do much better at a lower price, and I don't know what they're doing here. It's just I recommend you buy the 2 Chromebooks actually.
Yeah, or $379. Maybe buy an HP Stream, which is a lot. We're going to have the HP Stream review next week. Cheaper will be doing that one.
Yeah.
And everybody who's used the Stream, and that's $200 to $250, says it's fine.
Yes.
And this is disappointing.
It is disappointing. Yeah. There's just no reason to buy this device because you can do better elsewhere. So this is a definite don't buy.
Do not buy for the Acer TravelMate. All right. I'm kind of embarrassed to be doing this next review. I have a little bit of a problem.
Do you?
I keep buying cameras. In particular, I keep buying Sony cameras. As you know, I am an avid camera buff, a hobbyist, and for years I carried around a big DSLR, my favorite, the Canon 5D, heavy, but I had a lot of lenses and I could get great shots with it, primarily because it had a full-frame sensor. So I was really interested when we started to see first smaller cameras that were mirrorless in design. They didn't have a big prism to move out of the way so they could be more compact. And eventually, Sony came out with a full-frame mirrorless camera, the A7. They followed quickly on with the A7R, which was 36 megapixels, full frame, and really an amazing camera with a couple of little quirks that I just had to downgrade it for. But I liked it enough to keep buying them. Then I bought this. This is the A7S, 12 megapixels, silent mode, a really great street shooter because it's so compact. This is with the 35 millimeter Sony lens. It's so compact, and yet because it's full frame, you're getting great images. Also with 12 megapixels, and I did review this as well as the A7R earlier. With 12 megapixels, you're getting great low light performance. Well, Sony just came out, and literally it started to arrive in people's stockings in the last few days with this. This is the Mark II version of the A7, A7 II. And Sony has listened to what enthusiasts have said about the A7, and they've responded with a really an improved camera, a more graceful and more elegant camera in a lot of respects. And you can see immediately, we don't have an over-the-shoulder. Where's our closest shot? There it is? Okay. So you'll see immediately if I compare, this is the layout on the A7S, the most recent one. That silver button is the button to take a picture. On the new one, they've increased the size of the grip a little bit, and that's because it's got something inside that is really exciting. And they've moved the shoot button. Here, I'll turn it around so you can see. That's a little bit better shot. They moved the shoot button to the front where it's much easier, especially with this improved grip, to grasp. It's little ergonomic things like that that can make a big difference in how much you like a camera. But what's really interesting about this, it's a 24 megapixel full frame shooter. What's really interesting about this A7 Mark II is they've put optical image stabilization into the body. And it's not just two-way or four-way, it's five-way optical image stabilization. There's the full frame sensor. You can see it right there. So this camera with the body alone will compensate for shutter or movement in the pitch and the yaw, as well as the X and the Y axis. So it handles 5 different kinds of kind of handshake. And what that means is you can shoot at lower shutter speeds in darker situations and get better shots. And I have to say, having had this only for about 24 hours, it's absolutely true. I've been able to get some amazing shots. I put them up on SmugMug, Brian, so you can see. These are fairly low light situations. This is using the 55 millimeter f1.8 Sony lens, which I quite like. It's a really nice lens. And even though we were in handheld situations, this is my darkened office. Never would I see any motion blur, any shaking visible. It really handles it quite well. And that's pretty impressive. This is the first mirrorless, in fact, I think one of the first cameras ever to have 5-way image stabilization built into the body. Now, some of the Sony lenses have their own optical image stabilization in the pitch and the yaw, and if they do, they'll turn that off in the body, but it'll still work, which is great. I mean, this camera is really rock solid, particularly useful for, by the way, that's a very low light picture. I'm hand holding that. I'm not sure what the shutter speed was, but it's very slow. And you can see the detail, and the light is fabulous. That's the back of my. I
love the shallow depth of field of that lens.
Yeah, this lens is great.
Usually in low light photography, you don't really get this kind of sharp.
Well, it's wide open, and of course the ISO goes up pretty high, but it's not grainy. If you zoom in on these, and you can see them at my SmugMug page, leolaporte.smugmug.com. The images are even at higher ISOs really look fantastic. Sony has some nice features built into this, including a 50 megabit video codec. You'll have to have very, very fast SD cards to take advantage of that. In fact, mine, the Class 10 cards I use, were not fast enough. So I've had to buy 2 new, somewhat more expensive SD cards for this camera so that I can shoot this super high quality video. It also supports S-Log2, which means we get high dynamic range video. This is going to be a great video camera as well as a still camera, and it is very compact. They have made some wonderful improvements. For one thing, one thing I like about all of the Sony A7s is the customizable buttons. They've moved these to make them more accessible. On the top, we've got C1 and C2. C3 is here on the back, and C4 is overloaded. It's the trash icon, but it's also there. So I've got 4 customizable buttons, which I use all the time. One of the things that really is great about all these A7 cameras is the manual focal capability. You can use an automatic focus, which I do. And by the way, Sony says, and I'd agree, that this focus is about 40% faster than the previous A7 camera. And then you can fine-tune it by just twisting the ring here. And I use one of these buttons to zoom in, and it really does a great job. Another thing that they've significantly improved is startup time. And we'll just show you here. I'm going to flip it on right now, and it gets ready and is ready to shoot. You see, literally within a couple of seconds.
Wow.
That's a significant improvement also over previous A7 models. $1,700 body only. The real negative continues to be that there aren't very many dedicated lenses for this camera. The Sony E-mount, there are special FE lenses. They're full-frame E-mount lenses for this camera. And really, there's only 3 or 4 lenses out there. More to come. The roadmap is quite extensive. But the good news on these cameras, and a lot of camera buffs, including my friend Trey Ratcliffe, have noted this, is it's easy to get an adapter for almost any kind of lens on here. A lot of people are using Leica lenses on these Sony bodies and getting amazing results. Having the optical image stabilization in the body means that even if you're using a manual focus lens from Leica or Nikon or Canon, you'll still get the OIS from the body, and that is a significant improvement. So $1,700, that's the same price as the original A7 was, same number of megapixels as well, but considerably improved. They've dropped the price of the A7 by several $100s. So I still would recommend the A7. The A7R is the priciest of the bunch, and at 36 megapixels, it's also the most sophisticated, but it's slow focus. It's slow to operate. It's a little finicky. I have to say, of all of them, I'm a big fan of the A7S for its 12 megapixel super low light shooting, and I'm very excited about this, the new A7 Mark II. Sony is showing that they are very committed to this line, and they're going to continue to make this, in my opinion, the best full-frame camera out there. Just a remarkable buy in a very compact body. So a definite buy on the Sony A7 Mark II. If you haven't purchased an A7 yet, this is something to look at. They've just done a stellar job. This camera feels good. It's a little heavier. It's about, I don't know, I think 10 ounces heavier than its predecessor. But that just makes it feel more solid. It's by no means heavy when you compare it to a Nikon or a Canon.
Looks cool,
DSLR.
too.
Yeah, doesn't it look good?
Yeah.
The thing is, you can carry this around and not be intrusive, especially if you put the 35mm Sony lens on there. They just don't, they look like, tourist cameras. They don't look like professional cameras. But all you have to do is go to Trey Ratcliffe's Stuck in Customs website and take a look at the amazing pictures, high dynamic range pictures he's shooting with his Sony A7s. And I think you'll see these are absolutely professional grade cameras. All right, that's it for Before You Buy. I want to thank our reviewers, Mike Elgin, Brian Burnett, Shannon Morse, Chad Johnson. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. As I said, Cheebert's going to give us a review. I've been waiting for this, the HP Stream. If you have an idea for something you'd like to see reviewed, you can email us, byb@twit.tv. That's our email address. You can also catch the show in a variety of ways that we don't normally make Twitch shows available. Of course, it is on our website, twit.tv/byb. But we also put it on YouTube, youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. And not just the whole show, but also individual reviews. So if you're particularly interested in a product that we've reviewed, you can get just that review, share it with friends and family. That's at the YouTube channel, youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. Of course, you should subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, and that way you'll get each and every episode. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Remember, you got to watch before you buy. Bye-bye.